movie he saw 40 times, according to the Charles M. Schulz Museum and Research Center, was Citizen Kane.
He would have paid anything for a time machine, just to go back. He was always missing something, always wishing that he could have done something better or had something again.
What does it mean to draw 18,977 comic strips? Drawing 50,000 times Charlie Brown's head? You must be looking for something.
There was a certain time a few years ago when I began to think that there must be something wrong with me, that I was living too much in the past. I was thinking too much about things that had happened to me.
Schulz was the only child of Carl and Dina. His parents were isolated people. Norwegian Americans coming off of the farm into the new industrial world. This was a classically immigrant story.
There was this deep relationship between his mom and himself. To me, she was beautiful, a beautiful lady.
Schulz felt sorry for his mother because she didn't feel confident going to PTA meetings. She didn't know what to say. She didn't know how to dress. In fact, she might have even gone overdressed. And you get a picture finally of someone who wasn't very confident. She was going to be greeted by a world that cared for her or for her son.
We didn't show our feelings very much. Maybe it's the cold.
I was not in his home very often. I was at his home, but not in it. With me, it was a matter of trying to avoid Spike. Sparky never realized this because he was the owner of the dog, but it was a pretty traumatic experience. When I knocked, Spike, as I remembered, lunged for the door. His mother sent Sparky to the door and we take off. Sparky used to come over to my house. Sometimes I wasn't even home. And he'd come over and listen to my mother play the piano, literally by the hour. And Beethoven was her favorite composer.
What I remember is he would always be sitting with a sketch pad and would be drawing off in the corner.
Charles Schulz was recognized by teachers as being exceptional. It was up to him to decide whether or not he was going to be someone that connected with other kids. Schulz had a story that he told about his childhood. He and his mother, returning from shopping excursions on the trolley car, would take seats, and following the custom, he would stand up and give his seat. As other shoppers got on and he was pushed further and further from her in the crowded car, he remembered a stabbing sense of fear that he was going to be pushed to the back of the car and she would get off and leave him on the trolley to go on alone.
when she became ill, it just broke Sparky up.
He had to go to school, come home to a bedridden mother, hear her cries of pain at night, and never really speak much about it.
And the bills piled up, and so they ended up having to sell their home. Then they moved to an apartment above the barber shop.
As close as we were, his mother had probably been ill for some time before I even found out about it, because he just didn't talk about such things.
I know that he was much distressed by having to go into the service right at that time.
He was stationed at Fort Snelling. When he first heard the word cancer, she was days away from her death. It made him furious that he hadn't been told. He went home on his weekend pass. When he had to leave and go back, he said, "Well, I guess it's time to go." She looked at him and said, "Well, I guess it is time to say goodbye, and I guess we'll never see each other again." And he literally found himself on a troop train, staring out the window, on his way to Camp Campbell, Kentucky, to soldier on alone.
If someone says to you, "Oh, I feel just like Charlie Brown today," you know how he feels. And all of a sudden it occurred to me after all of these years, this could be the reason for Charlie Brown's existence.
This is our town. St. Paul, Minnesota, USA.
I was sitting in the barber chair one day, and his dad said to me, "Tell me honestly, do you think Spark will ever amount to anything?"